Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Warning: this video will contain spoilers for the 1986 Marvel comic series Elektra Assassin. Viewing beyond this point is done at your own risk. I take no responsibility for your decision. Thank you, and please have a nice day.
Hello and welcome to this video. Today's video is going to be about Frank Miller comic book series Elektra Assassin. This right here is my reading copy. It's a compilation graphic novel, and it's the one that I read. I do have the individual Elektra Assassins that I bought when I was 16 years old when they came out. And that's been a while, to put it mildly. Almost 40 years. But I digress. I was going to originally, go, look, see, I got the original. And the problem is they're 40 plus year old. Let me see, 96, 2006, 2016, almost 40-year-old comic books. They're in a protective bag with a board, and I did not, just simply because of the nostalgic value they have for me. I don't think they have any real collector's value. If you know for sure, leave it in the comments, because I don't. It's not something I keep track of anymore. Back in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, I mean, I could have told you exactly what they were worth, but it's not something I've kept up with. But I got them down, and I was doing the seeing how they'd look on camera, and because of the way my lighting in this room is, you see that bright light area, like right here, or wrong hand, right here, it casts on the plastic, there's a big glare. So I'm sorry, and I wasn't going to go through and take them out of the bags and then have to put them back, and that just way more work than I was willing to do. Plus taking them out and putting them in the bags, chance of damaging them. You see where I'm going there. Like I said, they have a very nostalgic value for me, but I digress, and let's get into the book. For those of you who don't know, Elektra is a Marvel character. She is an assassin, depending on what iteration, whether she's a good guy, a bad guy, a gray area person, and it's a her. I say bad guy and good guy generic. I'm using that generically. She's a female. But most of the time she's kind of portrayed as kind of a light gray. She's willing to do the darker stuff to get her job done, but she's not necessarily evil. This story, the artist, this is the reason why I think, for me, Lemoyne de Gastini, for me, this is Frank Miller's magnum opus, simply because this story and this artwork is just, it's a chef's kiss. Bill Steinwitz. Not sure on the pronunciation, and I know I'm butchering it, so please forgive me. But his artwork, it's all watercolors. It's beautiful, beautiful artwork. Hopefully I'm smart enough. I'm putting the graphics or the images up right here. They are, to me, this story and that art work together so well, so wonderfully, that for me, it is the penultimate magnus opus of Miller's work. He did a run of Daredevil with Elektra, where Matt Murdock and Elektra fall in love. They did a real shitty movie with Ben Affleck. I have to give Ben Affleck credit. He made him and the actress, I can't think of her name, who they tapped to play Elektra, make the movie worth watching. Other than that, the movie studio screwed the pooch on it. Also, in all fairness, it's before comic book movies landed, before comic book movies found their footing. They also did an Elektra movie, which was better than the Daredevil movie, but I tend to think of it as a high-budget B movie. Like I said, the actress who played Elektra did a good job. She makes the movie worth watching. Unfortunately, when you get a shitty script and you got a director who doesn't know how to direct a comic book movie, you're kind of in limbo. It would be a few more years before comic book directors figured out how to do comic book movies. So I give those movies leeway. I give them leeway. Yes, they're not. You compare them to, say, a modern Marvel Universe movie, any like the Avengers or anything like that. Yes, the Avengers or Iron Man, Captain America are vastly superior than the Daredevil or Elektra movies. But those movies for me are worth watching because those screw ups enable directors to learn how to make a comic book movie. Now that we've got all that out of the way and wasted about 8 or 9 minutes, this story takes place or starts out in South America. You get into Elektra's backstory. You get into basically her origin story. And the assassination of her mom and the eventual assassination of her father, her being sent off to some rather, I'm not sure how to put this, some martial arts. She was sent off to learn martial arts, but the places she went were not on the up and up. They dabbled in supernatural stuff, and she got involved and was doing, and at that point she was doing some pretty terrible, horrible things. She fell in love with Matt Murdock. They had that comic book run, and this takes place shortly after that. She's been hired to assassinate a fictitious South American president and a comic book South American country. She makes the assassination. Events unfold. She winds up in a sanitarium. They try to lobotomize her. She escapes from the sanitarium. She realizes that she also needs to assassinate the American ambassador to the country. She successfully does that. She slaughters some SHIELD agents. One of them being our main protagonist, Garrett, and his partner, Perry. They're cyborgs. Pretty much as long as their brain stays intact, they just plop the brain into a new body and they go. She lets herself get captured by these SHIELD agents. She uses her mystical ninja powers and she escapes. She basically makes a slave out of Garrett. And Garrett is a highly trained asshole, and that's what he is. We find out later in the comic that he's actually a thug, a criminal, like his partner Perry, and that this Exocorp, which is a wing of SHIELD, because of their experimental nature and stuff, they were tinkering with humans, brains, genetics, cyborgs. They were recruiting less than desirable people, because if they screwed it up and killed a bunch of people, no one would miss a bunch of criminals. But because of Elektra's influence, there's some light BDSM in it. It's during an election year, which I love the irony that I'm doing this video for this particular comic that takes place in an election year, and this is an election year, and in the comic, the outcome of the election is very important to the overall scope of world peace, and it's 2024. And I'm going to leave it there. They go through, they're being tracked, they're being hunted. Elektra gets taken over, her brain gets infiltrated. Garrett helps her get free. There's another SHIELD agent, Chastity, who isn't, that gets introduced. You of course you have Nick Fury. Nick Fury shows up for a while. Last probably maybe the last quarter, half. And he's standard issue Nick Fury. Think Samuel L. Jackson, it's Nick Fury. Yeah, that's pretty much how he's written. And this was back in '86. So, they go through, things happen. I don't want to go in too much detail, just simply because of the way YouTube algorithms work on censorship. But you have a bloody mess. People die. Lots and lots of people die. Just random people. SHIELD agents. The Beast. I need to cover the Beast. I forgot the Beast. The Beast is an evil manifestation. In the comic, it is there are characters that say it's an analog for the Christian Satan, and it is, and it isn't. It's generic supernatural evil bad guy. and being an evil supernatural bad guy, you can hurt it very, very badly, send it into a process of where it has to withdraw and heal, and you can never really kill it because, well, we still have evil in the world. And this is, it's crazy. It's like I said, it's a wonderful comic. And through the art, you read the words, but you feel the words looking at art, looking at this art. I want to take a couple minutes to talk about the process. This is before computers. This is in 1986 when comic books, the panels started out as a poster. Each panel started out as a poster size piece of artwork that was photographed, developed small, the words added in, then printed. I mean, this was a laborious exercise. This took time. It took expertise. There was no AI generation. There was none of this modern conveniences that we have now. This was all, in this comic, it's all watercolors. It's all paintbrush and canvas, and like I said, photograph, shrunken down, photographed again, the text laid over, photograph, and it's just the amount of time and technical work that went into this that can be done in a fraction of the time in this day and age on a computer, which allows, in this time, this allows for the author to go back and go, you know what? I like this picture, but I think I can tweak my story to better fit this picture, and artists can go, okay, that's cool, because the art, because of the time and effort put into the art. Once the art is done, to go do another art to fix it, it's easier to rewrite or tweak the writing to better fit the panel. And Miller does an excellent job. I don't know how much rewriting, or if there was any rewriting done, but it is, like I said, this is the chef's kiss. And it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to say that Miller's Batman, The Dark Knight Returns, or his run on Daredevil, and many of his other stuff he did in the 80s, is better than Elektra Assassin. There are people that will disagree with me, and they have every right to, because it's so subjective that they're right in their belief, and I'm not going to try to change them, because from their perspective, my lip is itching. From their point of view, they are correct. And I can't see any value in to tell them I'm right, you're wrong, or you're right, I'm wrong. It's that you have your belief, it's a good belief, and go with it. But Miller, especially in the 80s, he was at the top of his game as far as writing goes. Him, Alan Moore, and there's a whole plethora of writers that inspired the modern writers. Your Jeff Johns, and people like that. Those writers, they grew up reading these darker stories, which took us out of the campy Bronze Age into the modern, postmodern comic book area. I highly recommend reading this. Even if you don't like the story, the artwork is worth it. In my opinion, I mean, you may disagree with me. You may, and that's cool. That's cool because difference of opinions is how we grow as people. That's how we grow. Different opinions. It's not right or wrong. It's growing. You have this belief, I have this belief. Let's see where we can come to a middle ground and grow. That's what it's about, people. It's about growing, finding common ground, holding your belief that yes, that I believe that Elektra Assassin is Frank Miller's magnus opus, and somebody who believes that his run on Daredevil is his magnum opus, and going, okay, you believe this, I believe that. What's the common ground, and where can we go and grow from there? So, with all that being said, everyone have a good day, good night, good morning, good evening, good whatever time you're watching this video. And remember, be a good human, be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?